So, as you probably guessed by now, developing for the web isn't trivial because we need to support many browsers. At least in some of our pages, we need to do that. Another problem we face, besides some features not being supported in some browsers, are cross-browser inconsistencies. This means that different browsers use different defaults. You remember these default stylings some elements get? The default font size of H1 text, the default font family which gets used, things like that. Browsers implement that differently. For some elements, we might have different margins or paddings, different box sizing behavior. That box sizing is set to border box in some browsers for some elements by default, for example, and so on. This is not necessarily bad. Different browsers offer different defaults, and some users might pick a browser because of some of the defaults it offers. But some defaults are also annoying, and you want to have a consistent look of your web page across browsers too. Therefore, you can implement some reset libraries like normalize CSS, which is a CSS package you add as one of the first imports or as the first import in your HTML file, which basically overrides some of the global browser defaults. So for example, this could set box sizing to border box for all elements. Or you do that manually, of course. For example, in our code, in the shared CSS file, we are doing such a reset with that universal selector where we set box sizing to border box. This is one of the things normalized CSS or other packages like it might do for you. You can, of course, do it on your own. Now, very important to keep in mind, if you use a package like normalized CSS, which resets a bunch of things, that of course is additional code your users need to download, and therefore this increases the size of your page, so to say. Still, it might be worth it, but there are a lot of arguments these days that it maybe is just better to do that box sizing reset, because that really is annoying if it doesn't work like this, and not reset anything else, but simply override things like font sizes, like font families or colors, if you work with that specific element which actually is affected. Because you could also argue that packages like normalized CSS reset a lot of styles which might never be used in your page because you never use that element which it resets. For example, if you never use a select element, it doesn't matter to you if the styles for it are reset globally or not. So, keeping in mind that resetting some features makes sense and that you can do it manually with the star selector or by using packages is definitely something which is important.